But first, we begin in London, Ontario, where the city's police chief apologized today to the victim of an alleged sexual assault in 2018. London police held a news conference this afternoon to share some details of the investigation. The chief confirmed that 5 members of Canada's 2018 World Junior Hockey team have been charged in the case.
Comprehensive review was initiated over 3 years later on July 20th, 2022. This review involved re-examining initial investigative steps, gathering additional evidence, and obtaining new information. As a result, we have found sufficient grounds to charge 5 adult males with sexual assault.
Now, the chief faced some pretty tough questions from reporters about why it took London police nearly 6 years to lay charges in the alleged assault. Let's go to Megan Fitzpatrick. She was at the news conference, been covering this all day for us. So, Megan, take us through what he said.
Well, the chief and a detective laid out some of the details of the case, what is alleged to have happened back in 2018 here in London, the alleged sexual assault happening at a downtown hotel. And they talked about how they initially investigated this alleged assault in 2018. The woman did provide a statement to police. And a few months later, London police closing the case. Today, we heard the chief say it was closed because it was determined there were insufficient grounds to lay charges. Then we know they reopened the case in 2022, in July of that year. Also that year, TSN revealed that the woman had filed a civil lawsuit naming Hockey Canada, the Canada Hockey League, and 8 players from the team. They were unnamed in the court documents. And it was around that time that the London police decided to reopen the case. The explanation, you heard a bit of it there in that clip. They were saying that they determined there were additional steps that could have been taken to advance the investigation. They were asked in the news conference, Hannah, did they reopen it because of public pressure, because of what was revealed through the lawsuit? Today's chief in London was not the same police chief back in 2018, 2019, and he said he can't speak for the chief's decision to reopen the case, but he said it was his understanding that information came to light as a result of the community, he said, and that they did gather new evidence and talk to additional witnesses when they reopened the case. They're saying this is one continuing investigation, not 2 separate investigations. The detective explained that the body of evidence they gathered in the initial investigation plus the newly gathered information when they reopened the case together allowed them to now have reasonable grounds to lay the charges, is what they said at the news conference. Now, they did get a lot of questions, though. What happened with that initial investigation? Did the London police make a mistake in not laying a charge initially or laying any charges? The current police chief saying he really can't talk about it. He can't provide those kinds of answers at this time. He said there will be a time and a place to answer those questions, but he can't talk about the initial investigation because it's still part of the ongoing investigation. And now we have a case before the courts, and he said he does not want to compromise the prosecution. He apologized, however, for the case taking this long. Here's some of what he said.
I want to extend, on behalf of the London Police Service, my sincerest apology to the victim, to her family, for the amount of time that it has taken to reach this point.
He said he's not happy about it taking this long to get to this point, and he said that his police service is committed to investigating sexual assault complaints. He and the detective, though, saying there's always room for improvement. They are striving to be better and better at investigating these kinds of complaints. One additional question they got a couple of times. We know the 5 accused men have been charged, 1 count each of sexual assault. Michael McLeod facing 2 counts. The second count is being a party to an offense, the offense of sexual assault. They were asked if there are more charges to come. Is that even a possibility? The detectives saying they have laid the charges for the charges they think they have reasonable grounds to lay. So at this point, these are the charges they have laid, but they did encourage people, Hannah, if they have any information related to this case, to contact police.
So this coincides, you were earlier today at the London court because there was an appearance there. Tell us about that.
Well, it was the first scheduled court hearing since the 5 men were arrested and charged about a week ago. All 5 of them did come here to London to turn themselves in at the London police station over the course of several days where they were each charged. Then they were released on undertakings. The detective saying she wouldn't reveal the details of those. But in other words, they were not held in custody. So today was the first scheduled court hearing. The players did not appear here in person. They did not appear on screen either by video. Their lawyers did. Their lawyers have been designated to speak on their behalf. Really, all that happened today, Hannah, was setting another court date for April 30th. And the Crown at the court today, she was there in person, saying disclosure is going to be sent to the defense lawyers today. That's look at the case, essentially, the evidence that the police gathered, that the Crown has to give to the defense lawyers, and that will take them several weeks to review. She described it as a substantial amount of disclosure. One of the lawyers, speaking for Alex Formanton, saying he's anxious to receive that disclosure and that they would like to expedite this matter. But as we know with court cases, Hannah, they can take a very long time. So at this point, next court date scheduled for April 30th.
Megan Fitzpatrick in London, thank you for all your work today. Now, Hockey Canada has just released a statement. Here's some of what it says. Hockey Canada has cooperated fully with the London Police Service throughout its investigation, and we are committed to continuing to support the legal process. It goes on to say all players from the 2018 national junior team remain suspended by Hockey Canada and are ineligible to play, coach, officiate, or volunteer with Hockey Canada sanctioned programs.